Hello and welcome to Yadnya Investment Academy. Today we are going to do a mutual fund review. Let me first explain the methodology of the review. We will list and review the fund on various parameters and rate each parameter by green, yellow or red star. Green star means good performance, yellow means average and red means below average performance. In the end, based on total number of green, yellow and red star, you can take a call to buy this fund or not. Please remember all the fund parameters we are going to discuss here are based on 31st July 2018 data as reference, and we only review regular and growth plans of mutual funds. In this video we are going to review fund name L&T Mid Cap Fund, which is a mid cap fund launched in 2004. Now let's discuss this fund in detail. First, the fund belongs to L&T Mutual Fund family, which is currently India's 12th biggest fund house in terms of asset under management out of more than 40 fund houses, and was established just 8 years ago in 2010. L&T Mutual Fund started by acquiring assets of DBS Cholamandalam Mutual Fund in 2010, followed by acquiring Fidelity's mutual fund assets in 2012. Many of its equity schemes have come from Fidelity and DBS Chola mutual funds. Looking at relatively short time in market and majorly grown inorganically and not being part of top 10, therefore we give a yellow star on this parameter. L&T Midcap Fund was part of DBS Chola Fund House and was launched actually in August 2004, which means it is active for almost 14 years overall, but only last little more than 8 years it has been under new management of L&T. So we will focus on fund's performance since 2010 onwards only, since it has come under L&T, and should mostly ignore earlier performances as it was under different management. So on this factor, we will give this fund a yellow star as it missed 2008 downfall under new management. Fund is categorized in mid-cap category. So based on SEBI's definition, mid-cap companies are the companies ranking from 101 to 250th based on market capitalization. So this fund primarily invests in these companies. Moving to next, this fund has a large asset under management of more than 2800 crore rupees and is the 9th biggest mid-cap fund in the category with more than 20 funds. So overall, a good asset under management shows that investors trust its performance. So it deserves a green star on this parameter. Now let's talk about the Moolaha, that is the returns. We will first talk about the trailing returns from 31st July date and then talk about the calendar returns. In trailing returns, we can see fund has given very good returns and has consistently beaten its benchmark index, that is Nifty Midcap 100 TRI, as well as beaten its category average across 3, 5 and 10 years period. In actually 3 and 5 year trailing returns, it is the best performing fund in the category. Last 1 year is close to category average. So overall trailing return performance of fund is excellent. Looking at calendarized returns of last 10 years, which means returns from 1st Jan to 31st December of a calendar year, this fund came under L&T management in 2010. So primarily looking at performance from 2010 till now, if we see 2012 is the only year where fund has performed below both benchmark and category average. There have been some exceptional performances by the fund, mostly recent performances 2014, 2015 and 2017. In bear markets of 2011, fund performed worse than category average but near benchmark. So this is the only worry point in the overall fund performance. So overall since 2010, fund has performed 6 times out of 8 above benchmark and category average, and its recent performance has been exceptional. So clearly looking at trailing and calendar returns, fund is exceptional performing fund, but still near average performance in bear market of 2011 worries us, and hence we give it 1 green and 1 yellow star on this parameter. Next important parameter is fund manager. L&T Midcap Fund has been in hands of Mr. SN Lahiri since 2013. Mr. Lahiri is BTech and has done his MBA from IIM Bangalore and is the CIO of L&T Mutual Fund. Mr. Lahiri actually manages all popular equity funds of L&T Mutual Fund. Except L&T Equity Fund here, all the other funds have performed very well, especially in last 2 years. Performance has been much better than category average. Mr. Lahiri is also supported by a new fund manager, Mr. Vihang Nayak, who is a CFA and joined this fund in 2016. So looking at Mr. Lahiri's overall performance and his stability with fund house, we give this parameter a green star here. Next parameter is top stock holding of the fund and understanding the fund's diversification. So as on 31st July, fund has 76 stocks in portfolio with top 5 contributing around 15%. Cash allocation is little on higher side at 7.5%. So fund has a good diversification in portfolio with weightage of top 5 companies near to our benchmark of 15%, and hence we give this parameter a green star. Next parameter is sector diversification. Fund's top 3 sector has weightage of around 45% and has overall good diversified sector portfolio, and therefore we give a green star on this parameter too. Next are expenses. Expense ratio of the fund is 2.01%, which is significantly lower than average expense ratio of the category, which is around 2.26%. Exit load of the fund is 1% if investment is redeemed in first 365 days, which is what most mid caps do. So this parameter overall deserves a green star due to a very good expense ratio. Now those who like numbers, let's discuss few important ratios too. Standard deviation, a measure of volatility and risk, is higher than benchmark and category, which means it takes higher risk than them. Beta 2 is a measure of risk but is equivalent to category average and lower than benchmark. Now this is an interesting observation where standard deviation, which mostly represents total risk, is higher but beta is lower, which represents systematic risk. Now in a diversified portfolio, actually systematic risk is more important factor, and hence we will focus more on beta here. Now alpha, which measures the risk adjusted return, so 1.3 alpha here means it can perform 1.3% better than benchmark. Fund has higher alpha than category, which shows higher return potential. Interestingly, category average alpha is negative, which means category is expected to perform below benchmark, and this has happened actually after benchmarks were recently changed to TRI index. And to more about TRI index, check our video on this topic. Last is P ratio of the portfolio, which is around 29.1 as compared to benchmark Nifty Mid Cap 100 index P of 51, which means lower valuation stocks are being taken as compared to benchmark and more potential of growth is there. So fund overall is a moderate risk and high return fund with low P. Hence we give a green star on this parameter. Few other important info to note about the fund is that, as expected, it is a pure mid-cap fund with around 83% allocation to mid-caps and rest in large and small caps. And this table here shows how rupees 10,000 SIP would have performed in various time frames and prove exceptional performance this fund has given continuously. So if we calculate, we got total 7 green stars and 3 yellow stars, with relatively new fund house being a matter of small concern. So to summarize, L&T Midcap Fund is a large fund in a midcap category. This fund was managed by DBS Chola Fund House till 2010 and then was included into L&T Mutual Fund after they acquired DBS Chola Fund House in 2010. Fund has performed exceptionally in last 5 years and has been the top performing fund in 3 and 5 years trailing returns. Fund is managed by L&T CIO Mr. Lahiri, who has more than 20 years experience in fund management. Mr. Lahiri is a versatile fund manager who follows bottom-up stock picking and is not afraid to take high sectoral bets. Overall, fund seems to be in a good hands, but still fund house is relatively new but improving significantly, and Mr. Lahiri is clearly the pole around which equity performance of fund house has seen consistent improvement. We wish Mr. Lahiri stays around with the fund house for long term and keep on repeating what he has been doing in last few years. That is all we have on this topic. Before we close, we want to let you know about our new financial planning portal where you can create your financial plan for free. Details are in the description of the video. If you have any question on L&T Midcap, please do write in the comment section below and do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more such videos. Have a great time ahead. Jai Hind.